Good morning, everyone. Once again, this is Blackforexgroup coming to you with another market analysis video. This morning, we're going to be looking at the USDJPY. But before we get started to break down this currency pair, we have to state that this video is for educational purposes only, and this is not financial advice. Okay? But we all know why you guys are here, which is to find good, credible Forex content, help improve one's ability as a trader, and help put a little bit extra money in your pocket. So with that being said, let's go and see what we can do about that, okay? Now, before we get to talking about what's happening with what's physically on the chart, the technical analysis, let us talk about the fundamentals of each and what's going on, okay? Now, the JPY still remains one of our weaker trading currencies. This is just solely due to the fact that it did not raise its interest rate that high, and we're still having very poor economic news come out about the JPY. Currently, previously, its interest rate was 10%, and it kept its interest rate at 10%. So one can only theorize that the Japanese government probably has some other ideas to combat its inflation than raising its interest rate. Okay, they may be looking at it from a sense that they don't want to take away the available jobs for its citizens while prices are so high. So they may be looking towards other economic policies to combat the interest rate. Okay, now the USD did raise its interest rate from 25% to 50%. And we did have the Fed release some news yesterday that stated they're going to start making more economic policies in place to combat inflation because they said inflation is getting too ridiculously high. So we're going to have to see how that plays out on the market. But the USD did have some poor news come out towards the latter part of last trading week also, okay? And we still have the dark cloud of inflation hanging over because the increase in the interest rate has yet to start steadily combating that effectively. So the situation with this is the situation with the USD is basically this. If the increased interest rate is not effectively tackling inflation, then the USD is going to perform as weak. If the increase in the interest rate is not tackling the inflation or effectively handling the inflation in a timely manner, is taking too long, then that's also going to make it perform as weak as well. Okay, but we're gonna have to see how things play out with the rest of this trading week. Okay, now let's break down what's technically going on in the chart. So we was in consolidation, as I said in previous videos, for about 40, 45 plus days. Then we shot up, as you can see, came down, shot up, came down, and now we're kind of shooting up again. Now, for the long term, this looks like it's going to be good for a buy, but I will caution placing a buy at this very high state right here because you don't want to buy things while it's at an all-time, while it's at a very high point. You want to wait for some pullback to come, then get into the trade. Okay, so you don't want to just be in a situation where you place a buy here and then you're stuck in this area until it comes back to this area and starts to go up. What you will want to wait for is price to come down some, then get back into the trade. So let's see how far price can retrace down to. Okay, price can retrace down to this area here, here, or here before it decides to continue back in its fundamental before it starts to continue back in its fundamental long position. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait for that. So if you're looking to trade this, I will caution placing a buy right here. I will wait till you get some retracement, then go ahead and place your buy. But also when the retracement starts coming in, you want to start paying attention to the fundamentals to make sure that the fundamentals are still in your favor before you go ahead and place a trade. So once again, what we're gonna have here most likely is we may range out here, then continue to go up. We may drop to this area, range out, go up, or may drop to the general area right around here, range before we shoot up. Okay, I would very much caution to wait for the pullback before placing the buy. Just don't see this long aggressive move up and say, oh, let me just go ahead and place this buy because everybody else is buying, because the next, price will start coming down on you tremendously. And it may be a buy for the long term, but we will have some retracement that's going to come in at some point. So we have to take that into effect before we go ahead and place this trade. Okay. Hope that information was helpful for you guys. Happy trading.